You went in with a Blackhawks. You got your 20. They're working with
Minus the
it's like 17 of them.
brings us to.
And I only see a couple when they're flying around.
Thank you.
It's not Board of
It is
Ed.
Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024, 7 p.m. The Board of Finance meeting is now in session. Tom Madison, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion to, we're gonna take these one at a time. Motion to approve the minutes of September 18, 2024. Second, any corrections, amendments? Go ahead, Katie.
I have a couple. Under number 4 of September 18, it says that Ms. Stein noted that the Academy School project is 50% complete and is on budget. That should read what's the name of the building? The Neck River School.
You can leave it a
project. No, we all wish that Academy was 50% complete.
For the new schools.
Then, yeah, so please amend that. I don't want to miss. And then my only other one was Donahue. Bob Donahue's name is spelled wrong.
That was an accident, Bob, believe me.
Throughout the minutes, but other than that was good for my. Oh, yeah, the Little League.
Little League was approved, I believe, up to 6,000. It wasn't approved at 10,000.
Right. It was
Up to
Okay.
6.
Yeah.
We have an amended agenda, second the amendment. Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bob, you're gonna go with the name correction, I mean, really?
That's not
Opposed,
cute.
abstention, that motion carries. We have a can I get a motion to approve the minutes of September 25th, 2024?
So
Thank you.
Second.
Second, any discussion, amendments?
just Donahue again.
Really?
Yeah.
There's nothing in that.
It's right here. Leo.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Katie, you're not five. So there's motion to correct, amended Bob's name, to correction spelled Donahue. Second on that,
Second.
you made the motion.
Oh, second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, abstention, the motion carries. Chair's comments, there are none. Finance member committee comments. Anybody?
I have a couple liaison reports I'd like to give.
Good, Katie.
The first one is, I attended the, Board of Directors meeting for the library on, Monday evening. And I just wanted to, make a comment on an item that was, discussed at length, which was regarding the article that was, recently in the paper regarding the fiscal status of the library, which made it seem as though they were not in sound fiscal condition. That is incorrect. They do fundraising every year. They are working very hard to meet their fundraising goals. They showed an infographic that showed that for the past 5 years, library utilization continues to rise. They actually had, I think I heard the number of like 180 kids just for the summer camp they had this year, which is extraordinary. They are and do take their fundraising very seriously, and that is what the article was meant to illustrate. Due to the wonders of social media, I think it got a little misconstrued. The library is doing great. That
Thank you. Questions for Katie on the library? Go ahead, continue.
And the only other thing is Neck River Elementary School. I attended that meeting as well, and they continue to move forward. There's actually walls up now, and they did approve a bunch of bills that were paid. It was probably their highest invoices ever, but expected, again, on budget and on time.
Thank you.
So, one liaison report and one comment. I happened to bring that article with me.
Oh, good.
So I was very disturbed by the article. The town, the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance did a great job in funding that, year over year with a 3.89% growth, I believe. So to see that they're almost $500,000 a deficit or shortfall is extremely concerning. And even in the article, it said that unfortunately, these amenities may be the reason for the status of the library for the issue. So I think for us, we need to really look at that during workshop, and to make sure their rate of their own growth is not falling out. So, and then for liaison reports, the Academy Building Project group met last night. It looks like the final evaluations or final assessments are coming in, and they're hoping to go out to bidding soon. That was a little bit up in the air, but hopefully things are starting to move.
Questions, comments from that?
Yes, I just, to piggyback on yours, so, the library, as I said, it was a major, topic of discussion. And essentially, what I heard, from the board members was that the letter that went out, about their first quarter was really a letter that should have been a fourth quarter report. And so, yes, based on the reporting, it does look as if they're behind. But really, in the first quarter, they're doing quite well. And there were some, Stacy, correct me if I'm wrong, things that were not correct in the, what's the word for it?
Operation?
The
Budget
report that
report.
goes out, the budget report, that talked about the usership of the library in terms of programming and not overall use of the library. So, and I encourage anybody who wants to go and see how lively the library is to go in there. I know they just had the Women's Garden anniversary event, which was hugely well attended, as well as their backyard party this year. People are using the library and it is very well attended. It continues to grow. So I think one sad thing that is happening with local newspapers in general is that they're not, we're losing reporters. And so I think that is part of what is happening in terms of the reports that come out, and instead of really being able to talk to a reporter, they're kind of deciphering their information based off of reports. That is my opinion, not, but that seems to be where that incorrect information came from.
Thank you. John, you had a comment?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that the library does a lot of good for the town, and expanded programming, the use, I've seen it firsthand. Just for some, I guess, historical information, has the fundraising ever come up short? And in those cases, what has happened? Does anybody know?
Yeah,
I do not, off the top of my
Stacy,
head, know that
Stacy,
answer.
no?
I'm on liaison for a year, but I don't remember it being.
To that level, their operations have been pretty much dead on of what they've submitted, so I'm not exactly sure where those numbers.
But historically, they've met their fundraising.
For the most part,
Yep.
I'm not gonna say, exactly, but I don't think they were
And-
short at that level.
Okay, and if they were short, did the town supplement, or did it result in cuts in service?
listen, I think from my recollection, for the most part, the towns, I know it's the library that we funded significantly. We make up the shortfall. I do
Okay.
remember one time they actually exceeded their funding expectations years ago. So, but yes, I think, I'll speak for myself. We almost kind of say, hey, we expect you to do, these several things, but if something happens, you can come back to the Board of Finance and we'll revisit it. And there are times where we've asked for them to make adjustments in terms of expenses, yes. Any other questions or thoughts on the library? I'm glad, which is why you go to
Thank
these, we obviously as a Board of Finance, we need to stay on top of things, so thank you. Any other comments or questions from the members? Bob, anything? All right, we have our first selectwoman here. Peggy, are you ready?
First of all, the library is coming to our board of selectmen meeting on Monday night, so I encourage all of you to attend that meeting, because I think it might help clarify and allow them to kind of really walk through where there was some kind of miscommunications on their part. And I will say that town focuses on funding operations mostly, so a lot of these extra programming and things that they do tends to be funded by their fundraising rather than by the core operations. So that's usually what we try to approach at, and we look at their budget that way. But they will be coming to us and they can talk about that. I just wanted to also highlight some good things in town. We're getting a lot more projects done. We had a ribbon cutting for the painting of the Bower Park Farmhouse, which was great to see. That was one that had been in CIP for a long time. We're pretty much finished with the sidewalk along Woodland Road and 79, and already have bumped into people who are excited, and it's being used a lot by people that live in the area. So that is up and running. And the town gym, I think, is starting.
It's got another 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay, so that's where that will then be closed down while they redo the floor, but that's moving forward quickly.
It'll be open in 2 weeks. Done.
Oh, it's done, have they closed the gym now?
Yep.
Oh, it is closed, okay. But so anyway, so that project is gonna be soon to be completed. So excited to see that. We'll be starting the bonding process again in November. Every year around November, December, we usually issue in December. We have to refinance and put in some permanent bonds in place to cover our short-term financing. So Stacy is gearing up for that process. It's labor intensive and rating agencies and everything else. So just so you're aware that that is going to be going on, and we'll be going through that through November. We'll give you an update in November about that, how that's going. But we don't foresee any problems, and hopefully we'll see a few maybe basis points shaved off the interest rate, because rates have come down a little bit, so hope to see that. And that is really my report for today.
Thanks. Before we ask any questions, anytime the Board of Finance, as much as if we can make it Monday, we do appreciate it. You want the library or any other department there, Okay, but feel free to make it, just, a couple of hockey, BOS meeting.
Well, and I did flag that they might want to come and speak to your board, so
I
it's
said we
really,
could
yeah,
have
if you
that.
want to invite them in November, they're totally open to that, so, I had suggested it, so, but, you know, so I think if you want to hear it, you know, straight from them and ask,
Yeah.
opportunity to ask questions, you can certainly
Yeah,
invite
that's what I
them.
was trying to say, if they want, they can come here, if
Yeah.
not, they can go to the BOS meeting, report back. That's fine. Thank you. Any questions for Peggy? Okay, citizens' comments, anybody from the, sir?
My name is John Brady. I live at 668 Summerhill Road. And I'm here tonight representing the residents of Concord Meadows. We have an application for some ARPA money and just to ask your favorable approval of that after the Board of Selectmen has already approved it. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But I just asked for your approval of our request.
Thanks, John. Anybody else? Anybody else from the public who'd like to speak? Sorry. Anybody else? Second time? Third time? There'll be non-public information sessions closed. All right, so accept the SOTS ARPA 2024 early voting grant of $5,551.82 for the registrar of voters approved by the BOS on 9/23/24. It's in business item number 7. Can I get that in the form of a motion? Motion by Katie. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Matt and John. Discussion?
Oh.
John?
Yeah, a question. How much is it costing us? I know we're getting 5,500 back from the state, but what is it really costing us?
We're still running expenditures. I think they're estimating around $15,000, or 17,000. We also have another $10,000 grant. So we have a total of $15,000 towards the expense. Total loss.
And that's over above what we spend in general.
What's that?
This is
Including,
This is
above, yeah, okay.
This is additional.
Yes.
So,
Any-
Chair, just want to make one comment that they, I will say that they had, I think, 75 people to pay, you know, paid employees running this operation. Because not everybody can commit the whole time, right? So you got people doing little, so we're very lucky to be able to staff it this way and have a very smooth process. So we're grateful for our registrars and the town clerk.
Just add to, as someone who just did early voting, they are doing a fantastic job. Our staff and volunteers and everything are doing great.
And people are taking advantage of it. Totally. It's wonderful.
Any other comments? Discussion. Seeing now, we have a motion to approve the early voting grant of $5,551.82. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? That motion carries. Item 8, discuss and take action to enter into a 5-year capital lease agreement with M2 Bank for the purchase of the approved 2025 CIP highway equipment replacement schedule and authorizing the first select woman to sign all documents associated with the lease approved by the BOS 10/8/24. Can I get that in the form of a motion, please? Thank you, Gene. Second. Second by Katie. Matt. Discussion.
This came out of CIP?
Yes, it's, my only comment is more for the first select woman. Do you have an attorney look at these lease agreements before you sign them?
Do I what?
When you enter into these agreements, is someone else looking at that?
Yeah, we have an attorney review.
That's right.
legal review, yeah.
Okay, good. That was more for your protection. I think.
Yeah, no.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention, the motion carries. We have item 9, discuss and take action to approve the return of ARPA project balances totaling $62,756 of the ARPA fund, which was approved by the Board of Selectmen on 9/23/24. Get that in the form of a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, John. Second.
Second.
Second. Katie. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention, that motion carries. So we have multiple requests here. We're going to discuss and take action to approve round 21 ARPA funding request totaling $217,231 approved by the Board of Selectmen on September 23, 24. We're going to take them one at a time. $46,500 for the electronic programmable community sign adjacent to the Madison Ambulance Center. And I'm going to read these. If there's no issues, then we'll $30,000 for the paint machine for Beach and Rec, the CIP replacement schedule. $10,000 in additional funds for wayfinding signs, solar lighting, $60,000 for public work equipment package for in-house vehicle maintenance. We have $15,000 for APT charities, Veterans Outreach Program, $13,000 Concord Meadows Community Building Generator. John's here, $13,731 for the Garden Club Bauer Park. And then item H, we're going to table $29,000 for BFW window replacement, which was their second request, but was informed today or yesterday they received a sizable grant, state bond of 150, so we're going to table that. So if there's any discussion on any of these.
Yes, so the one I want to talk about is the 60,000 for Public Works. I want to question what that's actually going to be used for.
So 13,000 of it is going to be used to buy a diagnostic machine for big trucks, because we don't have anything. When the engine lights come on, it tells us. They've been using outsourcing, going to a dealer, and it's costing us sometimes $1,000, $2,000 to get, diagnostic stuff done on the trucks. The tire changing machine and balancer, an extra lift. Some small hand tools.
And what vehicles will be receiving the services? for
So all the town vehicles, we probably have about 40, so town vehicles plus, we're gonna do some of the routine maintenance on the police cars, changing tires, oil changes, so on and so forth. And any warranty work will go back to the dealer.
Yeah. So two things with that. One, with the police vehicles, I did speak with the chief earlier. Is that a liability that we want to take on for police vehicles? Would there be any implications for having our vehicle serviced in-house versus outside?
They're certified mechanics down here.
And the second thing is, what is the actual savings that's going to be happening with this equipment in the town? Like, how much do we expect to save in maintenance costs?
Well, so it's basically gonna be out of labor. We have the people there now. So just for instance, they put 4 tires on my car last week. They went to Torello. So it was $675. $129 was the labor. Lieutenant Mulder did get a place where we could buy the tires at wholesale price, so we'll get the tires at a cheaper cost. And we'll be able to change and put them on balance for ourselves. They did also put tires on one of the bigger trucks with 550s. And that labor cost is $342. So right there is almost $500 just for 2. Just the labor cost and plus whatever I think we can get the tires out like 60% of what they would get in the retail. So we don't have the exact metrics of what you would end up saving, but we're paying the guys to be there, whether they're working on a car or twiddling their thumbs.
And so we're not doing that now. We're going out, we're out.
So right now, we're not doing any tires because they don't have the equipment. They're doing all the routine maintenance on all the town vehicles. We're just not doing it on the police cars. So that's where the extra lift would come in, because the chief wanted to make sure that his vehicles would take priority. If we didn't, then we wouldn't have to, he would get help out.
So my opinion, from my conversations, I don't think the police department is favorable in using this service for a lot of their vehicles are still under warranty. So that part is. Have to push back.
It's okay.
Well, that's a different conversation we had with the chief. So,
Okay, I mean, I spoke to the chief.
And I appreciate you being here, but you're not the public works director.
no, I'm the director of operations, and I'm in charge of public works department.
But go ahead.
I did speak to the chief the week before last, so I don't know if you had a further conversation, and he circled back with Sam, and was it Perkins that you guys had all
Yes.
set down? And they talked again, and he said his big issue was more the warranty issue, but once he understood that that was not, he was fine with it. I mean, I don't know if you had a subsequent because that's what he told me.
Today.
Oh, well. So a week and a half ago, I
Well,
was told
that's-
he was fine with
That's
it,
news to
so,
me, because it was,
yeah. So we're getting, mixed messages, I guess.
Just as a follow-up to the points Matt brought up, labor costs, does this mean that we'll have to hire?
no. We're not gonna have to hire any more mechanics. There's 2 mechanics on duty.
Okay, I guess that kind of begs the question. So we have extra labor right now that we're not employing, that
So,
utilizing, thank you.
yeah, so the fleet is in better condition than it is, so now they have a little bit worse spare time. They're not spending a lot of time fixing all the breakdowns. You know, as we, replacing things, getting vehicles newer. So they do have a little bit extra time.
Okay, my one observation is I think we should have it should be explored further, if there's some,
So I'm okay with holding on to
Different.
this if that's what this board
yeah,
decides.
is it gonna be of any harm?
So well, not really, but regardless of whether we do the police vehicles or not, just getting the tire changing machine for the town vehicles. If we don't, not gonna do the police vehicles, we won't need the extra lift. But we still need the diagnostic machine for the big
What's the
trucks.
number, chief?
It was 20,000 for the tire changing machine and I think 15
You said 13, I believe, for the,
Diagnostic.
for the diagnostic equipment, because you had to have a computer. with it.
so 35 to 60. Is that what you're saying?
So it's, yeah, we're at 35,000.
What did I just say? 35.
And then the extra 24,000 would have been for the lift. That would bring you up to 60.
So the question comes, do we want to approve the 35 and table the 20? That's kind of just thinking off.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I think I'm.
Yeah, I think until we get clarity from both parties.
Listen, that's what we're here for, it's fine. You don't want to vote for something not confident. Even though it's ARPA money, there's no risk that we hold off a little bit, it's gonna go back, right? And then we just.
We just have to make a
return 6.5.
decision by the end of the year.
December 31st.
So this time, we'll be talking about ARPA again in November. It never goes away.
Okay, there are worse problems.
I know, right?
All right, so my recommendation would be, which we're gonna change another number, because let me know.
That's what I want to.
So we're gonna reduce this number to 35,000, item D,
I
for
think it
public
was
works equipment. What's that?
39, we had, I had for the scanner and the laptop, 12,000. And then the tools, 3,000, and then the forward lift, 24,000, so it comes to 39,480.
Okay.
If I
There was
take
some-
out the wheel changer. I take that out.
We know we want that. Yeah, the lift you want. That, I thought.
Take out the lift.
Yes,
Yeah, oh, that's the bigger number.
because we're really buying the extra lift to accommodate. the police
Yeah.
trucks.
Oh. 35,884. That was it.
Okay,
Checks and balances.
that's exactly right. If we go back to item D, we'll reduce the 60,000 to 35,884. Okay, we're holding the 29,000 table and 29,000 for VFW. Sorry, Matt, somebody said they had a.
I did.
Katie?
Mine was on the electronic programmable community sign, which is very exciting. My only question, and Sam, it's probably for you, is given that it's adjacent to, I'm assuming in front of or on that corner of the ambulance,
Yes.
will they be impacted if they're speeding out in their garage and turning?
It'll be near that telephone pole that's,
That was my only question. It's beautiful.
Wow, it's beautiful. Thank you for being here, by the way. I wasn't trying to give you a hard time, I wasn't sure if John would have been around.
That's not a problem.
Nice. Any other comments? I'm gonna read this because we changed a number of things, but any other comments? At this point, stage, you're gonna give me the number minus the 29 and
164,115.
we're gonna, how about we just do this? We have a motion in a second, we just withdraw them.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just want some assurance that we're not gonna be committing ourselves to, more sapping if we approve this.
And I heard you, and I believe the chief said no. We don't-
Yeah, okay.
We're not gonna be one more step back.
Face value there, right? You had-
Not for mechanics,
Well, not because of this, or we.
not because of that.
Thank you. All right. So we had withdrawal,
So moved.
no, withdraw the motion in a second. Thank you. Now I need a motion, let me do it this way. Discuss and take action, to approve round 21 ARPA funding request totaling 164,115. By the Board of Selectmen on 9/23/24, 46,500 for the electronic program, community site adjacent to the Madison Ambulance Center, 30,000 for a paint machine for beach and rec, CIP replacement schedule, 10,000 additional funds for wayfinding signs, solar lighting, 35,884 for public works equipment package for an field maintenance, 15,000 for APK charities, veterans outreach, 13,000 for Concord Meadows community building generator, 13,731 for the Garden Club Tower Park Pavilion, and 21,000 for the VFWs on health. I get that in the form of a motion, please.
So moved.
Motion made by Katie, second by Matt. Any discussion or any further discussion?
I don't know if I'm reading too deep into this, but for legalese, approved by the Board of Selectmen,
Right.
approved by the Board of Selectmen and as adjusted.
That'd be up to the Board of Selectmen. I know what you're reading into. They approved the total amount, we reduced the amount, we didn't
Yeah.
increase the
I'm
amount.
just legalese, I don't know whether we have to.
So, to me, we didn't increase the amount, so.
Okay.
And I assume the VFW, if something happens with that grant, we'll
Yeah.
know that before December 31st.
Yeah, no, we will definitely know. I think I talked to Senator Cohen, it's been approved by the bonding commission and it's for the full budget. So I spoke to Larry about it. So, but until we get all the paperwork, plus everything that you do, we'll have to funnel through the town anyway. Because we have to do administer the grant.
That's okay.
Yeah, so.
I'm
we'll run
Larry
the paperwork.
McGregor, Commander of the VFW, and I want to comment that I really appreciate the town coming back and helping us. The building in touch, which I've discussed lengthily with the Board of Selectmen, and you have packets. 65-year-old building needs upgrading, and we were very fortunate. It was right out of the blue, really. The Senator Cohen called me the other day and said that the 150K was before the bonding commission. And I'm not happy until it's approved, but then it got approved the other day, so we do have the money. And we will be spending it immediately because the windows need to be in before the snow flies.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so we had a motion second, and a second. Any other comments or discussion?
One last.
Go ahead, John, you're on the roll.
Yeah. December 31st is coming up. What did the 62 added back in? We just added a little more. Where do we stand approximately? And
So it's continuously, we keep checking it, asking departments, what are we encumbered, what our balances are. As of right now, returning that before we approved what we just did, we have the 338 that's on your backup. And then taking out the 164 out of that. However, we will go back again. And for the Board of Selectmen next week, we will have our arms wrapped around it even more.
kind
So
of a
we're-
final.
Yeah, we're trying, so
Yeah.
in November, we can make a final decision.
Okay,
Is there one project that we can just earmark towards, even though we know it's not gonna, just so we don't leave a dollar on the
Yeah.
table?
So I actually reached out to the auditors today to see if we can do that, and we talked about maybe doing a blanket agenda item for both boards, saying any balances or or changes in encumbrances.
Yeah.
That we can apply those funds to a specific project, and we can. And they also said, which I did not realize this, that say we encumber something and then it comes in less after December 31st and it's not encumbered, he said that we can reallocate it to a different project. So we're not like totally, because that was my fear, what if we encumber, we're expecting
Right.
it, all of a sudden it's $5,000 less, do we have to return it? And I have it in writing that we do not, we can reallocate it.
That answers my question fully. Thank you.
All right, good job. Any other questions or comments? And we have a motion and a second to approve the 164, 115. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Right, so Katie has it right in front of her. How do you like this? Review of the meeting schedule for 2025. And I looked at it, and it was something, I know the Tuesday meeting, but because of the
Yeah, so
mill rate, setting the mill rate.
you received a revision today, this afternoon. We went back and looked at all the meetings on the calendar, did our best to try to match everything up, as well as the budget workshops and your annual meetings, and we did make a couple of changes, including the one, John, that you just said, well, for April 8th, we wanted to do right after the public hearing at 8 PM, and then the Board of Finance meeting would be changed to Wednesday morning, May 7th, to set the mill rate after the referendum on May 6th.
So that means, I was watching the Board of Ed meeting. I know they made a request to do the referendum earlier than we have in the past, so that reflects.
This is earlier,
Great. Yeah, because so this is
it's a week earlier.
as prepared as I was.
Well,
It's not accurate.
Mostly correct.
All for the
All right, yeah, the budget process, including CIP for fiscal 26. Comments or questions on there?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And it's still small.
So CIP, we're working on a calendar, and we're looking at October 29th, I think, November. Yeah, for our first, kind of a housekeeping meeting to look at the calendar, approve the calendar, look at the dates, and then start full force in November.
It's actually a much thinner book than it used to be, so I'm curious to go through it. That's exciting.
It's a lot of the documentation behind there is minimum this year.
And then we have the fiscal 26 budget workshop schedule. Any comments? Look at it, see if there's anything wrong. This one.
I know that what's in there, I think correct, Stacy, is that 2 days where we have all the staff come in and then we have the outside groups, with kind of big block of time. Do you want to, now that you kind of, everybody on the board has been through a budget process, do you want to continue to still have that format? You have 2 different days? Or do you want to just have selected departments come? Or are you gonna have everybody come?
Listen, I'm more than okay with the selected departments, because normally it's really the size of the department that you're concerned about, but I'll leave that up to the rest of the board. You can bring anybody in, it doesn't matter. If you want to have them all in, you know, if Austin's here and everything's going smooth, then it could be a quick budget process, but I'll leave it as it is.
I'd like to see them.
Before you decide.
Yeah.
Was just blocking the date.
Yeah, but then if we decide to not do it, that's fine, but I'd rather have it and not do it.
Yeah, we could always say it's not necessary, I only want to see these 3 departments.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I would
We
like
could
to
do it multiple times. Go ahead.
reiterate what we talked about at the end of the last budget cycle, the more that Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance can work cohesively together. Obviously with the Board of Ed, but with communication and things like that, I think that would be preferable.
Well, we have a schedule where we have public meetings, separate meetings, so. And then there's the work, when the departments come in, that's the opportunity where we're all together. That's really the only time that we're all together scheduled with 2, both boards present to discuss the budget.
Right, but we've made we even Pat, pretty much how we want to go forward, and I know there's some contractual obligations, but we really want to keep this budget as close as possible, so we don't have an issue with mill rate.
And, I just like to see Austin shake his head.
Bring all the hats.
You're right.
I think given what the reference gonna be earlier too, is there, that communicating that out
It's a good point.
publicly is, I mean, I know we can't set it right now, it's got a whole legal process that has to happen, but this will be a change for people, having it be early May as opposed to mid,
Great meeting.
yeah.
We have
Um,
all the electric signs.
I know,
It'll be on the new one.
Katie, to your point about the communication, though, we talked about this a bit last cycle, is setting those goals, those targets beforehand. You know, 3% or 4%, so that the town departments know what to grow into. As opposed to, I mean, it was difficult, I think, for both boards last time to scale back.
But
It was successful, but
when we passed the CIP, we did that. We as a board did that, send that message.
but we didn't do it at the beginning of the process, and that's what we talked
No,
about
I'm
at the end of the process last year.
I think that the town budget though, that directive is given to the staff, and I had the staff actually make a
I don't know if the
reduction.
Board of Ed, the Board of Ed knows
Yeah.
it too. So to
So-
agree with you, Matt, we did say that, and then we had the meeting, and then we did let them know. So I agree with what you're saying last year, but this year, when did we pass? When was that passed? A couple months?
The 3.5 million,
Yeah.
when we had that workshop,
Yeah, when was
and
that?
we talked about the Madison
Yeah.
investment plan.
August?
June.
No.
July, maybe?
July, August. My point to Matt, you're right, but not, it wasn't like we told them in February. We were telling them,
right.
We,
Did it get communicated to them though?
yes.
I don't know if they are riveted by our meetings,
They may not be riveted, but the
it has been passed down
people
through
don't
leadership.
understand though, exactly.
I think it'd be easier for them as well too, like the department heads to say, okay, we know what the constraints are, and let's.
Correct. Should be, but it could be, this is.
Well, I send a letter to staff. And so, no, I send out a letter every year, so if you have specific language that you're looking for, then I'd rather tell the staff in that letter, and then say the Board of Finance is seeking X, Y, and Z, and so we need to be like giving them that direction out, because they pull their budgets together. And so let's backfill it really early, right? So if there is a target, I think maybe in November, you could come back and tell me what I should be instructing staff, because it saves some steps, so.
There is a target and we have them.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I have someone over my shoulder over here.
We did have a target, but I do think that you all needed to meet again and see if those targets that we were playing with that day is what you really want to move forward with.
Okay.
Because that would help
Yep.
then, because then we're not,
So happy.
Yes.
we're kind of ahead of it and then kind of using that much earlier in the process this time. So
That was
that's
really
yeah.
my point, and Matt,
Yeah.
thank you for articulating it better than I did.
All right, so when it comes back to, if there's any glaring things on the workshop schedules or the budget process, it's gonna be this. Anybody else on? Good. Financials, I did look at the fund balance, Fillmore's not here. We're gonna take a look. I know that. Any comments on the financial Stacy sent it out before, fund balance looks pretty. Right,
Of course, I have questions.
here, what is it?
So, Stacy, help me understand this, John tried, and I'm still not clear, so the green bar,
Speaking in different languages.
no, not that time, this time.
Oh. You
Um,
can't throw
but
him,
that's
me you
my-
can throw under the
That's
bus.
my density, not his explanation. In any event, the green line, and then the 10% reserve policy, and then the yellow line. So the yellow line is less than the reserve.
So I don't have it printed in color,
Oh, darn it.
so give me the amounts.
Okay, so
So-
the project unassigned fund balance is 20 million, right?
Yes.
Jane? And then if you go down the, well, that's, sorry, I'm distracted.
So,
I said I'm
then
colorblind, I don't see
the
yellow, I
nine-
know it's orange.
The 9 million is the 10% reserve,
correct,
but the balance, the projected unassigned fund balance is 8 million.
So we talked about, I believe at the same meeting that John's talking about, that the guideline, even though the regulation says 10%, we were going to change our goal to 1.5 months. So if you take the 20.1 million minus 1.5 months of the operating budget of 11 million.
Yeah.
That leaves 8.9 million available over the 1.5 months. If we used the 10%, that number would be even higher, but we were trying to be a little bit more conservative in keeping more in fund balance. So that 8.9 on the bottom is after reserving for 1.5 months. Does that make sense?
To everybody but me, and I'm good if everybody else feels good. You can do it in old math.
Well, I guess a fair
Let me
way.
say it this way, say, how much,
Do you see my concern?
how much is the 1 month?
1.5.
Well, the 1.5% I get, right? Versus the 10%.
Yeah, so we're using, we want to keep fund balance at 11 million versus a 9.5 million.
Yes,
So that's what we talked about, keeping more money in fund balance. So the overage, by keeping more money in fund balance, we have 8.9 million.
Reduces that number.
So
I'm trying to
if
give it
we
to just
followed
in
our
numbers and not
regulation,
percentages.
we would have less, I mean, we would have more available, but we want to keep more in fund balance right now.
correct. So can we get rid of that other one?
Sure, that's
For the
just a
easily
regulation,
confused.
so I left it there, it's
Yeah.
not in the calculation, but sure.
Thank you. Okay, oh, never
I
mind.
like the yellow
No,
line.
How about I move it down below?
Say, you do whatever you want.
Virginia, I think that's.
You said yellow, it's orange, I mean.
It's gold. It's golden rod.
Okay, any other questions on the, Fillmore, where are you, bud? Any more questions on the, reserve fund balance, anything else? On the financials and generals, all right. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak?
I would just like to thank you for the approval tonight on behalf of the residents of Concord Meadows and the board of directors. So thank you.
Thanks
I
for
hate
what
to do
you
this to
do.
you, but
Thank
you give me
you.
your name and address again, just it's a formality, but.
John Brady, 668 Summerhill Road.
I know it sounds like I'm nitpicking, but it's the way it is. Thank you.
No,
On second time, any good public, Austin, do you want to say anything?
Just Terry.
yeah.
Green signs, anything?
Bob and Jude will bring you your house.
Yeah, you. All right. Explain that later. Anybody else in public would like to speak? Okay, non-public information sessions closed. I'd like to move to adjourn. Second. Favors? Aye. Thank you, everyone. Meeting's adjourned at 7:44 PM.